We do a lot of negligent security cases, and that's when somebody might get hurt, like due to like some type of violence on somebody else's property, and then we can say that there should have been a certain type of amount of security on that property. So it's different areas that you can either file a lawsuit, or you might be on the other end of defending a lawsuit when it comes down to civil law. A lot of times we get questions about small claims as well, when it's just a dispute about some money or a contract or a breach of contract. So as far as the rights that you have, if you are injured and you think it's somebody else's fault, I usually say go talk to an attorney about it, just to see if you actually have a lawsuit. And especially now that they've changed a lot of the laws to make sure that it's within the statute of limitations. And statute of limitations is just the time that you have to actually file a lawsuit. Seek help as fast as possible because of that. And just kind of, like I said, like go through the process. Sometimes if it's small claims, if it's not that much money that's involved, you can do that on your own as far as file a lawsuit. The clerk's office has a really good program right now called the Low Bono Center. And in the Low Bono Center, you can actually go in, get advice from a lawyer, and they can walk you through the process for a small claim suit. And you can also understand your rights and if you actually have a claim, if you're within the statute of limitations. So as far as the rights go, my key advice would be seek help fast. Don't wait. Get whatever treatment that you might need if you are injured, and that way you'll know what type of claims that you might have.
Just a follow-up question to that, what do you think you see the most of? Let's say the top two things in the civil area that you're seeing cases or consulting people about.
In the civil area, of course, car accidents is at the top. And I think next to that would be slip and falls. And again, like car accidents, it's, you could get, a lot of people think, well, I got hit from behind, so that automatically means the other person is at fault, which is typically true. But again, even if you were the person who hit somebody else from behind, don't think that, okay, I can't sue or I can't seek legal counsel, because there could be some liability there as well. And because they're what we call comparative negligence, it's different areas. So again, like ask a lawyer, talk to them. If one lawyer turns you down, go talk to another lawyer, because it might be a claim that's there. When it comes down to slip and falls, those aren't always clear cut. But like if you slip in a like a grocery store or a store or somebody else's property, if you we had somebody the other day that tripped over a cart that was left over and injured herself, and was able to make a claim. So anytime you get injured on somebody else's property, feel free to make a claim. A lot of times, even if you get hurt at somebody else's house, if you're visiting a friend and you fall down the stairs or a banister breaks or something like that, if you're walking up the stairs, you can sue that person's homeowner's insurance. But people don't, that's the reason why you pay for insurance. And a lot of times people are reluctant about suing like a friend, or even if you're in a car with a friend and they driving crazy and they get into a car accident, you can sue that their insurance. And you're really not suing that person, you're suing that insurance, and the insurance company is the one that takes the claim.
Absolutely, thank you. I'll pass, if you have the mic, pass down to Judge Baker Carper, who we are so grateful for your, I'll just say it, your brown face on the bench, especially dealing with youth in this community. Tell us maybe a little bit about people who are not aware of what the delinquency court does. Tell us a little bit about what that court handles.
All right, so delinquency law deals with children who have been accused of committing crimes. And what I want to do is kind of go through the process, because a lot of people don't really understand what the process is after a child has been arrested. So once a child gets arrested, TPD has a policy where they will call the parents. The parents are called and they will ask, hey, do you mind if we ask your child some questions? Some parents say, don't talk to my child until I get there. Some parents are like, this is their third time being arrested, go ahead, have at it. After the child is taken into custody and questioned by the police, because maybe the police officer is trying to build a case and they want to do some investigation, the child has the same rights as adults. So they have the right to remain silent. They have a right to have an attorney present. They are instructed that whatever they say can and will be used against them. So they are read their Miranda rights. The children, of course, so they're under the age of 18, but in their own child mind can say, hey, I want to waive those rights and I want to speak with you anyway. And so from there, if that child is arrested, they are taken to the Juvenile Assessment Center. Where is that? That is located off of Appleyard near TCC in the Disc Village Plaza. While there, that child is then given a score. And that score is based on that child's history. If that child has prior criminal history, they will receive a score for that. Depending on the type of charge, that child is scored higher points for if it is a violent offense. They're given lower points if it is a non-violent offense. If they have any prior history of not appearing in court, they get another score for that. If they're currently on probation, they get a score for that. After they're done computing the score, then it will spit out a final score, and based on that final score will determine whether or not that child remains in secure detention. So let's say the child doesn't score for secure detention, and they actually score to be released to their parent. That child is given a notice to appear. That child comes before me in about 2 to 3 weeks. And at that point, I go over with them their rights, what the state has decided to file charges for, and the case proceeds to disposition. Let's say the child remains in secure detention. That child comes before me the next day. And when that child comes before me the next day, I have to determine whether or not I will keep that child in secure detention or release that child to some sort of supervised release. What does supervised release look like? It could be home detention, where the child is instructed, you are to stay inside the house 24 hours a day on every day that ends in the letter Y. They process that. And they're only allowed to leave if they have permission from their supervised release tracker, if they're going to school, if they're going to work, if they're going to church. Some children, if they are a flight risk, some ladies have come before me on human trafficking cases, or they may have a history of not appearing in court, they would qualify for an electronic monitor. So then parents would have to take that child to the Juvenile Assessment Center within 1 hour of leaving the Juvenile Detention Center, because they leave the court, go back to the Juvenile Detention Center, get picked up by parents. Then parents have to take them to the Juvenile Assessment Center to get that monitor. So that's pretty much the process. And if you have any other follow-up questions.
I do.
Yes.
I do have a follow-up question. The very little that I know about delinquency law is that it's really a relationship or an involvement between the court and the child. How much is the parent supposed to be involved, or what would you share with parents about their rights in that process?
Okay, so let's start here. There are some, I have heard, there are some judges that, and not in our circuit, because I do delinquency law, but just in other circuits, from attending conferences where judges don't really require the parents to be there. I take a very proactive measure in making sure that the parents are involved. And if we can't find a parent, because some parents are absent, right? I try to get brother on the phone. I'm trying to get auntie on the phone. I'm trying to get whoever is involved in this child's life on the phone to be a part of this child's process, because what I'm about to tell this child, I need to make sure it's being reinforced at the house. Not only that, it is important that probation or the supervised release tracker can have an adult that they can talk to when they come to the house, because they're going to have paperwork to fill out. They're going to have an agreement that this child has to enter into to make sure that they understand what is expected of them while they're on home detention. So it just takes a village to raise a child, and when you bring the village into court and the village can see and understand that, oh wow, this is really a rehabilitation court. This court isn't trying to, send them up the creek without a paddle. We are really there trying to give these kids services, mental health services, other kinds of services. We've reached out to Keith Rogers, who has Black on Black Ride. One kid came before me at a disposition hearing, and he says he loves to rap. I'm like, okay, well, you know how you're gonna do your community service? At Black on Black Rhyme, since you like to rap. Well, how is he gonna get to Black on Black Rhyme? Parents have to take the child to where they need to go to get these services. So that is why it is important and incredibly important to get the parents involved. Now, their rights, parents are not the ones getting the attorney, okay? And parents are shocked by this. They're like, well, I want to be in the room when the attorney is talking to my child, and I have a right because that's my child. No, ma'am. You do not. And I understand where you're coming from. I'm a Black mama too. And I want to know what is being said to my child. But the attorney is for the child. And then they really feel some kind of way when they realize they're financially responsible for their child's acts. So you're telling me I can't be in the room when the child is talking to their attorney, but you want me to pay for my child's criminal acts? Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So those are two areas where, a few areas really where.
Well, I'm not gonna stick with you too long
Yeah.
because I want everybody to, but I do have one more follow-up question. I have the joy, along with another one of my stores and attorney judges, to go to PACE every week.
Yeah.
Love those girls. They're such a joy. And the one thing that I know that I'm constantly asking because I have that liberty is, how can I help them? How can people who are not their parents, as you speak about the village, join in and trying to help them, other than guiding them, of course, to activities that will redirect how they do things? In that process, I know the parent can't even be in the room, but what can we do as individuals to help these young people?
God bless you for asking that question. Thank you so much. Shout out to my the best JA in the United States of America, and that's Ryan Randolph. All right, he is here in support. I do want to say that one way you can do it is call Ryan and say, hey, I want to be a mentor. You have no idea how just having someone who can set expectations for these children and really pour positively in their lives can really change their path. So I have had people who have become mentors, connected the children with people who are doing well in the community or who just want to spend some time with them and to just encourage them, spend 30 minutes on the phone. You don't have to even take them anywhere, but it's really about letting these kids know that greatness is expected of them, that criminality is not the standard. They need people to set standards for them and let them know that they can achieve those standards. So, call Ryan Randolph at 606-4307. He will put you on a list. And if you say, like, maybe the area, like if you do hair, that'd be great, because we have a lot of young ladies who come before me who they desire to become estheticians or salonists, and I say, okay, yes, I know somebody who can do that. Like, I hooked them up with my loctician. Or we have some men who want to become mechanics. I'm actually actively looking for a mechanic right now who will mentor a young man. We've had people in construction that a young man came out of a program, and I said, by the time you get out, I'm going to have a construction worker who will be willing to take you on. Brent Kent was there. We partnered them together. He said, hey, young man, if you do well, I will hire you. So these kids are, just looking for that opportunity to have someone to become a mentor. So if you want to do that, call Ryan Randolph, 606-4307.
Sorry, Randolph. Go ahead and turn the mic over to Attorney Rollins.